Welcome to the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host, wife, mom to 3 daughters, and a femininity coach. My mission with this podcast is to inspire and educate you about your power as a woman, wife, and mother in the 21st century through thought-provoking solo episodes and interviews. I believe that the health of the world begins at home, and as women, we have massive power in this domain. I'm also the creator and facilitator of the groundbreaking community-based membership called Circle, which is a collective of females, women, daughters, wives, and mothers who are ready to ditch the baton of guilt, shame, and sacrifice, and instead embody confidence, energy, and passion. You deserve to feel good. You actually can have it all. This is God's plan for you. So mama, straighten your shoulders, sway those hips, and get to own your feminine power like never before. Let's do this. Hello, my love. Happy New Year. We've made it to 2021. Yay! Who's excited? Oh my gosh, we finally made it to 2021. I'm sure you've heard it many, many times, but 2020 has been brutal in so many ways. This episode is scheduled to go live on January 15th. So it's been a couple of weeks since the beginning of the year, and I've done it consciously and deliberately because I am aware of the current technology fatigue that we're all experiencing. I mean, myself personally, I've been relentlessly unsubscribing from so many channels and from so many voices and people that I follow because time is becoming really of essence, even more so than ever. And so I wanted to be mindful of that, and I was expecting and anticipating that a lot of content is going to be coming at you, bombarding you at the beginning of the year, the first week of the year. So I decided consciously, I'm just gonna wait a little bit. It's okay, we have time. And so here I am, the middle of the first month of 2021, and I'm so excited to reconnect with you. Oh my gosh, I miss it so much. I miss so much connecting with you every week. But you know what? Yet again, we are on a lockdown. Our kids are home again from school. But that's okay. That's okay. I feel like the second time around, I am stronger. We are stronger. The infrastructure is set in place, so it's nothing near, the turbulence and the heart, that sense of, I felt completely just discombobulated. It's one word that one of my clients used in the past, and I'm going to borrow that. I just felt discombobulated. I felt completely out of control. It was all very, very new. And now after the kids went into winter break, we were all kind of anticipating it, and here we are. Anyways, 2020, the title for this episode is 4 Surprising Lessons from 2020. And I often think of 2020 like back pain that takes you by surprise. Have you ever had one of those? You do something strenuous, often thinking that you're being good by challenging yourself, and out of the blue, something pops and you're immobilized for days. It happened to me a couple of months ago, and it was debilitating pain, and I couldn't do anything, and it was so destructive and so disorienting to my life. So if you guys know how that feels, then you know what I mean. So then what happens is you can't do anything productive, right? You can't walk, sit, even lie down, pick up your kids, bend, go up and down the stairs. So you spend the entire time sitting on the sofa or stay in your bed, binge on Netflix while someone else picks up the slack for you, right? Hopefully there is somebody to pick the slack for you. So there's a bit of a bittersweetness in this whole situation, right? It's annoying that your life has been disrupted in such a way, but it's also kind of nice to do, well, nothing. In resting, you remember or discover new things about yourself, like things like how much you love reading. Walking gains a whole new appreciation, right? You reconnect with your loved ones in a new way because you're finally static. You don't move as much. You don't move and you don't fidget anymore. They have your fullest, undivided attention. That voice within you is awakened and it whispers in your ear that there must have been a reason for this strain, right? What is your body trying to tell you? What do I need to learn from this? This is nice. I should change this or that, right? I want to experience more of that without the pain, of course. The thing with back pains is that eventually it goes away. Well, hopefully. So before you know it, you go right back to your regular programming with a new perspective, but little action to change towards some of your newest realizations. And then you're back in the hamster wheel, running again, hustling, achieving, pushing yourself, etc. Now, the difference between COVID and back pain is that the former lingers for much, much longer. It doesn't go away in a week or two, right? Here we are, almost a year later, still in pain. Believe it or not, there is a blessing in that. COVID is a blessing in disguise. Yes, I said it. Why? Because what happens when back pain doesn't go away? What happens when you've used all the creams, all the potions, supplements, and nothing works? How do you get back into equilibrium when back pain becomes chronic? You realize, again, hopefully, that all this time you've been treating the symptom, not the root cause of the pain. And then you do something about it. Something serious like seeking out a chiropractor or a physiotherapist, or finally changing your diet, committing to yoga, maybe trying breath work, or maybe even hot and cold plunges. Maybe later you feel inclined to explore the psychospiritual reasons and release the emotional roots of your back pain. You might hire a body worker and learn that your chronic back pain could be caused by stuck emotions. And then you discover that the sacrum hosts fear in your body. Fear, for example, like things like fear that is related to financial insecurity or grief of losing someone dear and moving on with your life. So then you connect into your soul space and figure out a way to release yourself from pain. That kind of work requires time. It requires effort, it requires dedication and patience. Now, why am I telling you this? Why am I sharing this with you? What does this have to do with 2020 and the lessons from 2020? Well, this, my love, is what I believe that we are all being called to do in 2020. I believe that we are called to heal our chronic back pains. Whether it is healing a strained relationship with a child, maybe, or with someone else, maybe a sibling or a parent, or maybe even your spouse. Maybe questioning and examining your marriage, or maybe even questioning and examining yourself. It's nothing like we're used to. No more easy pills to ease off the pain temporarily. This is not about a temporary relief. We're being called to uproot, eradicate, extinguish whatever it is that we've been tolerating, putting up with, or pretending like it doesn't exist. And I'm going to highlight the word tolerating, because specifically for us women, there's been a lot that we've been tolerating. I think 2020 is the year of women. Is the year where women are called to up level and call in new standards. New standards for ourselves, new standards for our homes and how our homes are managed, and calling in our loved ones to participate fully. So I wanted to spend some time today and share 4 of my contemplations and ruminations about 2020. You know, I've discovered that I've been tolerating some major things that were holding me back. And COVID has been a great opportunity for me to sit with the truth in silence, uninterrupted and undistracted. So I hope my lessons will help ground you in the truth that you're not alone, and that whatever challenge you're faced with is sacred enough to uproot. I hope this will give you the permission to see the blessing and the opportunity in these very rare times. I know it's hard. I know we're all tired. We're all annoyed and even angry. And that's okay. That's totally normal. But remember that back pain. We're dealing with roots here, not symptoms. And those take time to uproot. Now, before I say anything about my own experiences with COVID, I don't want you to think, so it's a little disclaimer, I don't want you to think even for a split second that I minimize the suffering or the immense fear that this virus caused in the world. I know many people have lost their loved ones. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Media is everywhere. I know it's a chaos. It's a scary thing that we've never experienced before. But what I'm sharing with you here is my very own, very biased, very personal experience. So please bear with me and just know that we are all just trying our best navigating this very challenging circumstances. Okay? So yeah. So now that I have that out of the way, let's jump right into it. So lesson number 1, certainty does not exist. This reminds me of Baz Luhrmann's, I'm going to try to say it correctly. Baz Luhrmann's song, Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen. I think it was popular back in the 90s. So in the song, he says, and I quote, "Don't worry about the future. Or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind, the kind that blindsides you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday." Boy, were we blindsided, right? 10 months ago, I was trying to figure out how to take this podcast to the next level, how to incorporate social media into my business, how to share my message on the stage with more people. I wanted to start speaking, gain more visibility. I hired an assistant to help me with outreach, etc., right? I wanted so many things. And then COVID. All of my dreams and aspirations had to be put aside. Although it's incredibly harsh to admit, it's also humbling. It reminds me of the movie Wonder, where Julia Roberts plays the mother of a child with a rare disorder that changes her life upside down. She went from being a career woman in the process of writing a thesis for her master's degree to a full-time stay-at-home mom. How humbling is that? I often think of this movie whenever I have to put my family before myself and remind myself that we often delusion ourselves with grandiose plans which never come to fruition because it's not the right time. It can be because you might be unripe or maybe not ready to play the big lead yet. And the sudden halt stops your ego in its tracks. So that's what I had to do. I had to halt my ambition. I had to go back to the basics, make sure my family is taken care of, that they're loved and they feel loved and that they're settled at home, while I find other ways to express my ambitions, which involved reevaluating my entire business and my entire marketing plan. And you know what? I'm so glad I did, because in that I found my passion for writing. I found that I love sharing my voice, you know, through a medium like blogging, not necessarily just through speaking. And also, I discovered that I could be a great asset to my husband's company. And so I joined forces with him, right? And so what it does, it makes you more resilient. It makes you more resourceful. It makes you search for other things where you can still continue to thrive, as opposed to kind of um, getting lost in the depth of the sadness and the depth of the pain. And I was definitely headed there. But I'm so grateful for my village. I'm grateful for my husband's support. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm so grateful for my kids' school, and all the beautiful souls that jumped and popped into our life to really show us that we are not alone. We are all in this together. Although I have to admit, I'm so tired of hearing this cliche. We're all in this together. But we are. We're actually in this together. Anyway, so this leads me, lesson number 1, leads me to the second lesson, which is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Another cliche, right? But 2020 taught me how true it is. For me, staying with the kids, and guys, I'm not saying this lightly. For me, truly, staying with my children at home full time was the absolute worst possible scenario. I was so scared of this, of even thinking of it. I literally thought I would die. I was sure I would not be able to do this. I thought I would yell all day. I thought that I won't be able to work. I thought my marriage is going to be over. I didn't think that this is possible for me. And here I am, feeling the best I've ever felt. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I was on some kind of crazy rush to do more, to have more. I was just running too fast. And I am kind of ashamed to admit it, but I've had moments where I wished the kids to grow up already so that I can get to do what I want to do. And, coming back to the lesson from the first point, COVID coming into my life was like a loving mother who wrapped her hands around me and calmed me the F down. She made me look at what I'm missing out on by rushing so much. Spending so much time with my 3 daughters made me fall in love with them even more. It made me relish their current age. It gave me the permission to deepen my relationship with each one of them in a soul nourishing kind of way. Now, guys, it's not always perfect. But you know what? I allow it not to be. This experience made me more resilient and even resourceful at home. I've created systems around chores, meal planning, meal prepping, dinner making, cleaning up, and throughout the entire day, we have a sense of flow and structure. This allows me to feel like there is flow to our day, even in the midst of massive disruption. And I've never been more productive at work than I am now. It's crazy, right? How this work? And you know what? I don't even work much. But when I do, I make sure it's quality work because I don't settle on anything else or anything less than that. And like I said in the beginning, that was when I realized that I have to unsubscribe from so many things because otherwise I'm just going to collapse. There's just such an information overload, and I just had to become really, really smart with how I use my time and energy. So, what I'm saying here is look, you don't know yourself. That's the bottom line. I didn't know myself either. You only know yourself when you try. So let's just stop capping ourselves and put ourselves in small little boxes, right? Life is full of surprises, but you need to have the confidence that no matter what hits you, you will manage to still thrive. So that's my second lesson from this crazy, crazy time. And I know a lot of you feel the same. The third lesson, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm on the border of sharing this, but I think it's time for me to talk about this. The third point, my third lesson is an unhealthy marriage is soul sucking to both sides, and it will keep you from living your best life. So this is a biggie for me. There's a lot that I won't say because I want to respect my family's privacy, my husband's privacy, but here's what I will say. I will never again settle for anything less than amazing in our marriage. For many, many years, I felt like I was playing the role of the good wife, doing for him, taking care of the household for him, taking care of our kids for him, cooking for him, cleaning for him, all for him. Why? Why? Because I was truly convinced that if I did those things, he will appreciate me and I will get a hit of my drug, my medicine, my love language, which is words of appreciation. But it never came. Or maybe if it did, it came not consistently. Not because he didn't appreciate those things, but because I was giving him what I needed, not what he needed. My husband's love language is quality time and acts of service. So he expects those things to be given. Now you can imagine the heartache, the arguments, the disconnection that this created between the two of us. Now here's the thing. It's not his fault, and it's not mine either. This is where cultural conditioning plays a huge role for men and for women, right? We both come from specific gender roles that we see and learn in our homes, and then we bring them to our families. And when things don't work, we wonder why, and we place the guilt on our partners. But what do? How do you bridge the gap? Well, this is where feminine power saved me once again. You see, we women have a unique gift called intuition. We are more connected to the divine. We feel things. Someone once said women are the feelings of the world, men are the doers. And I always talk about how being different doesn't imply inferiority. It's okay to be different. I have been craving to feel loved and desired for many years in my marriage, but I struggled to communicate it to him. And he felt unseen and didn't know how to communicate it either. So here we were, two people, two children of God, with all of this potential we didn't know how to realize. I knew we had the capacity for an exceptional marriage, but we were stuck. A lot of it was because we were simply too busy to dedicate our attention to it. Anyone else? Well, with COVID, no more excuses. We have all the time in the world, and I'm so blessed for this opportunity. With the time that COVID has gifted us, my husband and I became closer than ever. We've connected in many ways that I didn't even know possible intimately. And also on a soul level, and a soul level as well. Now, I have to say a little thing here. I do take credit for this connection because I have dared to put my ego to the side and open up my heart in a beautiful feminine way that captivated him instantly. You see, masculine energy craves the feminine. he was patiently waiting for me to come back to myself, right? I didn't say come back to him. I said first, he needed me to come back to myself so that I could come closer to him. And the beauty is that the more I embrace my feminine power, the more he steps into his masculine power. One of my biggest desires in our relationship and in our marriage was for him to see um, himself as the CEO that he is. I wanted him to stop playing small in his business. I wanted him to stop attracting the wrong clients. I wanted him to become the business owner that I know that he is without feeling guilty or ashamed for claiming that role. And that was hard, you guys, right? It was hard. So I see this with so many women who wish that their male partner stepped up a little more. So many of you tell me that in our discovery calls. If you're like me, the song from The Lion King where Nala sings to Simba, why won't he be the king I know he is, the king I see inside? Right? Then you know what I mean. Here too, my love, we women play a huge role. We have the power to feed our partners with the right concoction to entice them to be more of who they are meant to be by stepping into who we are meant to be. I believe this is my role as his wife. The same way as his role as a husband is to provide for me a sense of safety and stability. This is what I know that I need. And now that we are clear on that, he knows to provide this for me, and I know to give him a sense of just that I'm receptive to him, that I want, what he wants to give to me. Because at the end of the day, again, this cliche, we're in this together, him and I. The kind of marriage that I want is called a sacred union, where we're both growing individually, but also as a couple. So, yes, as women, realizing our power and wisdom, we can change our lives around, and this is how we can also impact the lives of our partners. Of specifically, I talk about our male partners. So that beautiful synergy between the masculine and the feminine energies, when we really understand how to work with these powers, that's when life gets a completely different taste and flavor. So that's lesson number 3. All right, so lesson number 4. A meaningful life is made up of conscious moments of joy. So if I have the power to infuse meaning into random moments in my life, then what if I can highlight these moments and write them down? What if I could give myself permission to relish, to savor, and take pleasure in the timelessness of simple moments of life? And pandemic life is filled with these moments. But our job is to pay attention. So similarly, like how my husband and I were able to enhance our marriage and enhance our relationship by paying attention, by taking, something that we knew we needed to look at, but we were, ignoring because we didn't have the time. Of course, it's an excuse, but anyways. So we paid attention. We made it bigger. We decided to enroll into a Mind Valley program called Lifebook, and we drilled into our visions, our individually, but also, mutually as a couple, and that allowed us to connect on a deeper level. So when I talk about these, little moments of your life, let me give you some examples. For example, it could be relishing in holding my 4-year-old daughter's hand in my hand, just paying attention to how it feels, to how her hand feels in my hand, or smelling the food that you're about to eat. How about eating slowly and chewing your food? Or putting music on and dancing your heart out. Playing with your kids on the carpet, making love, looking into your beloved eyes. How about smelling, using the sense of smell? Just smell his neck, smell his hair, smell his eyes. Just use, taste the taste of his mouth. How about sleeping in? I did it this morning. I have relished in the fact that I can finally sleep in, that I don't have to rush, to drop my kids off or to be on time somewhere. Go for a drive on your own. Cry. Oh, cry. It's my favorite. So much release in crying. You get the point, right? None of these things cost anything. They're free. And this is my biggest lesson from 2020. Joy is free. It's not outside of me. It's right here, right next to me, within my body and the walls that surround me. It's in the eyes of my children, the smell of their hair. It's in clipping their nails. It's in choosing their clothes every morning. It's leaving a love note or text for my husband. I have the power to make my life meaningful, joyful, and fun. The choice is mine and yours too. So, ladies, it's all a work in progress for me. Nothing is set in stone, but 2020 has definitely taught me so much about being laser clear about what I want, about how I want to feel, and the power of manifesting. I believe we all deserve to feel good. Feeling good isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And this is the hardest lesson of being alive, figuring out how to make meaning of this very complex and sometimes just weird human experience, right? It's so hard to explain it. And on that note, I want to recommend Disney's last movie called Soul. I'm sure, like us, you guys have been binge watching on Netflix or Disney Plus or maybe even Amazon Prime, whatever it is, because we have so much time at home now. Movies are like, the thing to do with our kids and also on our own. So we've watched a lot of movies, and one of our favorites as a family was Disney's recent feature, which is called Soul. And I'm going to close with that thought. So Disney has made such an incredible job of showing how we have the power to infuse meaning into every moment into our life. We have to stop waiting for something grandiose to happen to us, right? Instead, grandiose every moment, right? We can turn grandiose into a verb. We can do that. How does this look like in our mom life? Well, I'll use the example of soul-sucking chores. So doing the dishes, folding the laundry, cleaning, cooking, meal prepping, meal planning, etc. And I'll use the folding laundry example because that's my least favorite chore. So instead of dreading it time and time again, which I've done for years, what if I can infuse meaning into it by playing music while I do it? Or reminding myself how lucky I am to have the person whose clothes that I'm folding in my life, to have that person in my life. Or what about inviting one of my daughters to do it with me and turn it into special time? You get the point, right? It's all my choice. It's all your choice. We can create we can enjoy our life by highlighting these conscious moments of joy, by paying attention to little moments with consciousness. This is what I mean when I say conscious moments of joy. So let's recap. Number 1, certainty doesn't exist. Number 2, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Number 4, an unhealthy marriage is soul-sucking to both sides, and it will keep you from living your best life. And a meaningful life is made up of conscious moments of joy. So, how are you going to live your life? What is your life for? You decide. So, your action task for the week is to notice these conscious moments of joy. And I want you to share them with me over at Instagram. So, you can find me at Instagram by following my handle at Dorit Palvanova Coaching. And I think we can start a movement of women, wives, and mothers who refuse to stay stuck and play small and instead relish in the fullness of life. We are in control of our lives, not the other way around. Remember, like I said before, joy is free. It doesn't cost anything. And it's our job to pay attention and to listen. So let's use the momentum of the silence, the momentum of this. It's almost like, when you turn off the lights with this big lever, and like if you imagine a big manufacturing facility, and then there is somebody who comes into the electrical room and just turns off the electrical lever, and it's dark and silent. This is what we're experiencing right now. It's dark, it's silent, but there is power and there is a blessing and gift in this silence. So I want myself as a leader of this movement, and also you ladies, the ones who are listening, right? I hope you are listening to this consciously. I hope you are choosing to stay subscribed to this podcast because it's a choice. It is your choice. You're choosing to stay and to listen and tune in because there's something here that is attractive to you. There's something here that resonates with you. So again, we do life consciously. We don't do life mindlessly. I talked about this in, it's kind of like a golden thread of consciousness that connects all of the 4 lessons that I've learned in 2020, is that it is all connected, and there is such a blessing in silence and in just going idle. So I want to send you off with so much love, many, many blessings. Remember to highlight these conscious moments of joy. Snap a picture of them or do a little video or reel. Tag me at Dorit Palvanova Coaching and share them with me on Instagram. I love you to pieces. I wish you a great month and a great year, and I cannot wait to reconnect with you again very, very soon. So I'm sending you off with much love and many blessings. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Wait, before you go, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I have a small ask of you. Snap a picture of you listening to this episode and share it on Instagram and tag me at Dorit Palvanova Coaching. I love sharing your tags on my feed. Also, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. It means the world to me, and it helps other mamas find it on iTunes. And if you're curious about Circle and would like to be a part of it, head on over to www.doritpalvanova.com/circle, CIRCLE, and join us. We discuss topics you wished your mom taught you when you were younger, like the wisdom of your menstrual cycle, how to be a queen to your king, what's the safest contraception for women, women's connection with the moon, how to talk and support your daughter through her period and her female body, and other topics like food, spirituality, sexuality, embodiment, motherhood, womanhood, and so much more. This is a safe and sacred space where you will find the answers to the questions you need but don't have anyone to ask. Your daughters need you to show up for yourself and for them. And your male partner needs you to understand yourself so well so that you can help him to understand himself better and also support you in a way that works for both of you. You will get access to my monthly PDFs, a supportive closed Facebook group of like-minded women, monthly virtual group coaching sessions via Zoom, all for $30 a month. I want you in this group. Come join us. Today is the day. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.